Hello everyone, my name is Thryss. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and if you are a returning little yarn gremlin, welcome back. So I have a stitch for you today, and it is a lacy flower stitch, but to lace or not to lace? That is the question. You can actually do this two different ways, and I wanted to show you this here. So I hope you will stick around and subscribe. Leave a like and a comment in the description box below. Helps the channel out. You can tell me if you've ever seen this stitch before or what you would like me to make out of it if you don't know what to put, or just an emoji works. So this lacy flower stitch is done in a stitch multiple of 8 plus 2. I will explain the stitch multiple when we go to do the foundation row. But before I got to that, I wanted to just show you real quick the difference that a hook size can make with any stitch, whether it starts out lacy or it starts out not lacy. This sample right here is made in a 5.5 millimeter. This sample right here is made in a 4.5 millimeter. And just look how very, very different the end product is. Those hooks are NELSONWOOD hooks. I will leave the information below. So we, in this tutorial though, are going to do it with the 5.5 hook to get this more lacy, but you can do it with any size that you want to. So let's get to it. Okay, so to start off here, you need to make your foundation chain, and your foundation chain is going to be in any multiple of 8 plus 2. So what that means is you are going to chain a length that is divisible by 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, so on and so forth. And then you will add 2 at the end. So you can make this however long or however short you would like, just so long as it is divisible by 8. Now, something I always suggest is your foundation chain. You should, you can, you don't have to, but if you ever have trouble with your first rows bowing, kind of pulling in at a curve, it probably means that your foundation chain is too tight. So I always do my foundation row or my foundation chain in at least a half size hook size larger than what I'm going to be using for my pattern. So in this sample, I'm going to be using a 5.5 millimeter for my project. So I'm using a 6.5 millimeter because I go a full size up for my foundation chain, and then I find that it doesn't do that tugging and everything is nice and neat. So do your foundation chain of whatever you are doing this project for, which leave down below what you would like to see possibly me make out of this stitch, because maybe we could do that. So I will meet you at the end. Okay, so for my starting chain, because I'm just doing a stitch sample, I have 26. So I have a multiple of 8, which is 24, plus 2, which is 26. So for this very first row, this is just one of your setup rows, you are going to do a single crochet in the second stitch and in every stitch across. So the loop that you see my hook coming out of, we never count as a stitch. It is every loop leading up to that. So this right here is 1, and this is 2. So you're going to go in that loop, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through both loops, and that is a single crochet. And you are going to do that in every single stitch across your row, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I am at the end of row 1, and I have done a single crochet in every single stitch. So if you remember, I started out with 26, which is a multiple of 8 plus 2, and we single crocheted in the second chain and then all the way across. I am at 25 stitches. So your stitch row, your stitch count will be one less than what you started with. So that is how you can know if you are on track. Okay, so row 2 is also a setup row. All right, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we are going to single crochet in our first stitch here. Then we are going to skip 3 stitches. Okay, so we just went in this one, so we're going to skip, skip, skip. And in the 4th chain, we are going to do a flower. So 1, 2, 3, right here. So a flower consists of a puff, chain 2, a puff, chain 2, a puff. And a puff is, so you're going to yarn over, make sure you're in that 4th chain, and you're going to pull up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, go back into that hole, pull up another loop, yarn over, and go into that hole one more time, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all loops on your hook. You should have 1, 2, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus what you just yarned over. So you're going to pull that through all 6 loops. Now, if you find that you have trouble pulling through puff stitches, it's probably the direction of your hook. When you pull through with your hook up, you're catching all of this yarn right here. So try turning your hook upside down so that this flat bit is what's being pulled against all these loops, and chances are you'll find that it is going through there a lot more smoothly. So then you are going to chain 2, and we're going to do that puff again. We're going to go back into that same stitch, and you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back in, and pull up a loop. So you did that 3 times. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through these 6 loops, and then you are going to chain 2. Now you're going to do that one more time. You're going to go back into that same stitch, and you are going to yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 6 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 6 of those loops. Now you are only going to chain 1. My yarn is stuck. Okay. Now we are going to skip 3 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch you're just going to put in a single crochet. Okay, you're going to chain 1. Go ahead, and I like to just, if I know what my next stitch coming up, it's going to be another puff, I just yarn over, so that, because I'm visually impaired, so I don't have to fumble around yarning over and relocating my stitch. So I just yarn over, and then you're going to skip 3 stitches again, 1, 2, 3, and in that 4th stitch you're going to do another flower. So you're going to, you are already yarned over, so you're pulling up a loop once, yarn over, pull up a loop twice, yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and then chain 2. This is what you are going to do the whole way down. However long your sample is or your project is, you are going to do your flower, then chain 1, skip 3, do a single crochet, chain 1, skip 3, do your flower, chain 1, skip 3, do your single crochet until you get to the very end. So I am going to leave timestamps below so you can locate each row. I am going to go ahead and finish this row out with you because my sample is not very long, and that gives you time to practice this flower because you will be doing it the majority of, you'll be doing it your entire pattern. So practice with me if you'd like to. So yarn over, you're going to go back in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you are going to yarn over, go through all 6 loops, chain 2. We have 2 puffs. Now we need to do our final one. We're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop 3 times, then you're going to yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and then because it's our final puff of that flower, we're only chaining 1. And now we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and we are going into the next stitch and just doing a single crochet. Oops. There we go. I haven't done a tutorial in a minute, so I'm a little bit rusty, and doing it through the camera takes a second to get used to, so please forgive me. Okay, and then chain 1, then we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and in that 4th chain we are going to do a puff again, or flower. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 3 times, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, chain 2, and then you're going to do that again, yarn over and pull up a loop 3 times, then yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, chain 2, and then you're going to go back in and do that one more time. That's 1, 2, 3, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops, and then because we're at the end of our flower, we're only chaining 1. This is what we're looking like. Now I am at the end of my sample so you keep going until you get to the end of your row and then meet me back here. So we just have the chain 1 at the end of the flower, and we're going to skip 1, 2, 3. In the final stitch at the end of the row, make sure you go through both those loops. You are just going to do a single crochet, and that is how you do row 2. Now row 3 is the beginning of your 4 row repeats. So what you're going to do is we are going to chain 3, which counts as a stitch, turn, and you are going to double crochet in the very first stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, draw through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, draw through 2. You are going to chain 2, and this starts the repeat of this row. So after you've chained 2, you are going to look at your flower and you're going to find your middle puff, and you are going to single crochet in the top of your middle puff. So just where all of these loops of yarn converge at this hole, go in, make sure you have both loops, because sometimes it is easy to just go through one, and then you're going to do a single crochet. This row is really easy. You're going to chain 2, and then locate your single crochet, and you are going to do 3 double crochets in that single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then you are going to chain 2, and you're going to repeat everything that you just did. You're going to find the top of your middle puff of your flower, and you're going to put a single crochet there, chain 2, and then locate that single crochet that is in between your flowers, and you're going to put 3 double crochets. Now you are going to repeat this down till the end of your row, and you will end your last thing before you get to your last stitch will be a single crochet into the middle of the puff stitch of a flower, and I will meet you there. Okay, so we are now at the end of our row. We're going to put a single, we've chained 2, we're going to put a single crochet in the top of the middle puff of our flower. And then we are going to chain 2. And then the way that you end this row is mirroring the way that you started it, and you are just going to put 2 double crochets in that single crochet. And now we have ended row 3. Your sides will straighten out, I promise. So row 4 is going to be your most complicated row. It's still not complicated, but it's going to be the most complicated one. So you're going to chain 2 and then turn your work. So what we're going to have to do in this row is we have to do basically a half puff at the beginning and end of each row to make a full puff all together. So you've chained 2, you're going to do a half double crochet in this stitch. So it's yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And then you are going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 1 puff. So yarn over, go back into that same stitch you did your half double crochet in, and you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop 3 times, just like you do in your flower. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on your hook. And then just like the end of any flower, you are only chaining 1. And this chain 1 starts the beginning of the repeat of this row. Alright, so you chained 1, and now you're going to skip this chain 2 space. You're going to locate your single crochet from the previous row, and you're just going to single crochet in your single crochet. Chain 1, and then in the 3 double crochets, you're going to find your middle double crochet, and you're going to work a flower. Now, if you have trouble locating which one is, like let's say you used a bigger hook and all your chains are real loopy, find the staff or the post of your double crochet, and the hole is going to be to the left of your staff. So this is double crochet 1, this is double crochet 2. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to do a flower. So yarn over and pull up a loop 3 times in that middle double crochet. And then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 6 loops. Chain 2, and you're going to do 2 more puffs in that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all 6, chain 2, And then you're going to go back in and do your final puff. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to repeat what you just got done doing. You're going to chain 1, single crochet in your single crochet, chain 1, and then do a flower in the middle double crochet of your 3 double crochets. And then I will meet you at the end of the row. The final thing that you will do before your final stitch is a single crochet in a single crochet. Okay, so we are at the end of row 4, about to do our last stitch. Okay, so we did a single crochet and a single crochet, and I have chained 1. So now you're at the end of the row, and it looks a little funny. So what you're trying to locate is just your chain 3. So here's your chain 1, 2, 3. So right here, you are going to do a puff, just 1. So you're going to yarn over, go into that chain 3, the top of your chain 3, and you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop 3 times. Oops, sorry about that. 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through all 6. You're going to chain 2. And then you are going to do a double crochet in that same space. And you've created another half flower. So that is what our row is looking like. You have a half flower here and a half flower here. Now, row 5, this is our second to last row in the 4-row repeat. You're going to chain 1 and turn, and you are going to single crochet in this first stitch. This is a real easy row. And you're going to chain 2, and you are going to double crochet 3 times in this single crochet. The single crochet that is in between your flowers. You're going to put 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then you are going to chain 2. And you are going to find the middle puff of your flower where all that yarn, all those loops converge into the hole, and you are going to go into that hole and do a single crochet and then chain 2. And this is what you're going to do the entire way down. You're going to single crochet into the top of the middle puff of every flower, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the single crochet that is in between each flower set, chain 2, and then back to doing a single crochet in the top of the middle puff of every flower. So you're going to do that until you get to the end of your row, and the last thing you're going to do before we get to the ending of the row is you're going to be putting 3 double crochets in a single crochet from the previous row. I will meet you there. Okay, so you should have just done 3 double crochets in the single crochet from the previous row and chained 2. If you hear noise in the background, it's my dog chewing a bone. It was the only way to keep him quiet. I do apologize. So you are going to be putting a single crochet in the half double crochet at the end of this row. Now, personally, I find it difficult to find half double crochets sometimes. It is this flat bit right here. But if you have trouble finding it, so find the post of your half double, and it's to the left of it. If you have trouble finding that though, just go in the hole and just do it over the hole. It really doesn't matter. It looks good both ways. So don't stress too much about it. I'm going to go in there and do a single crochet, but sometimes I just don't feel like messing with it, and I just go in that chain 3 hole and just do it around the stitches. So it's no big deal. Okay, so now we are on row 6, the final row of your 4-row repeat. It's pretty simple. So you're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet in that first stitch, chain 1, and this is the start of your row's repeat. You're going to locate the middle double crochet and you are going to do a flower. So we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop 3 times, yarn over, pull through all 6, and then yarn over twice. And we're going to do that 2 more times in the same stitch. Two, 3, chain 2, and then 1, 2, 3, pull through all 6, chain 1. And then you are going to find that single crochet between the 2 sets of flowers, and you are going to do a single crochet, chain 1, and then you are back at your 3 double crochets where you are going to do a flower again. So this is what your row is. You are doing a single crochet, then chain 1, then in the middle double crochet you're doing your flower, then chain 1, and then a single crochet in your single crochet, chain 1, and then a flower in the middle of your 3 double crochets, chain 1, and you're going to keep doing that until you reach the end of the row. And the stitch that you are going to do before you get to the end of the row is going to be the flower in the middle of the 3 double crochet, and then I will meet you there. Okay, so we are at the end of row 6, and the last thing that you did was a flower in the middle of a 3 double crochet. Okay, and so then we chain 1. Did I chain 1? I did. Okay, it's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, so then we're going to chain 1, and then we are going to single crochet in the final stitch of the previous row. Okay, so that is the end of row 6, and this is what we are looking like. So now you are just going to repeat rows 3 through 6 however many times you need for the length that you want to get. Okay, so this is a repeat 3 times. It's the original time we did together and 2 more times. Now, this was done with a 5.5mm hook. So it has a lacier lay to it. I want to show you. Okay, we're gonna scan or open a little bit. This is the exact same stitch count as this one. The only difference being this one is done with a 4.5mm and this one is done in a 5.5mm. Look at the difference that makes, not only just in the overall size, but in the laciness. So let's say you want to make a bag out of this, or you want to make a mat, just something that has a more closed brocade fabric style. You'll want to size down, and the bigger your hook, obviously the lacier the end product is going to be. So this would be beautiful for a top, this would be beautiful for a wrap, this would be beautiful for a cardigan or a sweater, all kinds of things. Doing it with a smaller hook would be great. I think this would make a really pretty bag. Or pillow covering, blanket. I mean, honestly, the possibilities for this stitch is endless, and it looks kind of different depending on the hook size that you use. So I'm actually a little curious what a 6.5 would look like. The yarn that I'm using is Lion Brand 24/7 cotton. And of course the hooks that I'm using are NELSONWOOD hooks. The information for the hooks will be in the description below. But I just wanted to show you the difference that the hook size makes in this stitch. And you can apply this to any kind of stitch. If there's a lacy stitch you really like the look of, but it's a little too open for you, size down. And it really is transformative. Or if there's a stitch that you really like that is a little more dense and you want it to be a little more open and airy, you want there to be a nice, you know, flow to it, then size up. The world is your oyster, so really there's not a ton of rules in crochet. This is one that you can bend for sure. So let me know if you've ever used this stitch. Let me know what you plan to make out of it, and let me know down below what you would like to see me make out of it. I'm really thinking a bag, but I'm also thinking a top. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys have a good one. I will see you on the next one.